About to speak with Major Mohammed Bashir, retired, a former Nigerian army officer, about the unfortunate murder in cold blood of 16 gallant officers of the Nigerian army in a community in Delta State, south of Nigeria, what it connotes for troop morale at a time of great insecurity, and how things can be done better going forward. Good morning, sir, and good to have you on the morning show today. All right, it looks like the retired army officer is not ready for us, but this, as you know, Angels, is an important subject, something not to in any way laugh about, you know, the dastardly act that happened in Delta State, 15 gallant army officers, including, I think, a major and two majors, yes, you know, that happened there. I like the fact that the first line of communication that came out came directly, you know, from the army, and saying that investigation will commence immediately, because what this does is to bring back the very sad tale of Zaki Biam and Odi, if you remember, during the Obasanjo regime, when some communities attacked some military formations and killed, I think, 2 soldiers, and it was almost like a massacre, you know, at that time. The details of what happened in Delta are still kinda sketchy, but investigation has commenced, and I think that every Nigerian of conscience should stand with the Nigerian army at this point, because what happened really is just something untoward, something that we cannot applaud. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's a national tragedy. They were responding apparently to a distress call because of some community skirmishes. And I think it also reflects an issue we have with our security apparatus, because typically that type of internal security should be left to our police. So it shows also that the fact that our military has to respond to internal security issues, to communal issues, which should really be a police matter, shows that the security situation in the country is really in crisis. And we've been talking about insecurity mostly in the north, and particularly in the northeast. And now this is a massacre of our troops in the south. So it shows that this insecurity and these issues that we're talking about is pervasive across the country. And honestly, I think it's a moment for us to, you know, take a moment to respect our troops who are protecting us, and we're going to talk about their morale now, because their pay is not very high. You know, there's very little reward, I would say, for our servicemen, the officers, the troops, and I think it's actually a tragedy to see 15 members of our service members be killed.
It's a complete tragedy, So there are 16 soldiers that died. The governor of Delta State said that this whole incident is alien to our culture. I am from Delta State. We've not really experienced this type of killings. And just to note that the reason those soldiers were deployed there was for a peace mission. And to find out that they actually went there for a peace mission and they were killed in that manner just goes to show a lot at this point. What were the youth thinking? Why did they have to go out there to massacre our gallant soldiers? They were there on a peace mission. More needs to be done. It feels like there's some sort of a disconnect between the military and the community there. Definitely. I mean, they have been there for a while. I think that it is important that they were able, that it should have been able to communicate with the community and to foster peace in that region. We must see an end to this, really.
I think we have Major Mohammed Bashir back there.
Galma is my name.
Hello, General Bashir. Is that correct? You're trying to say something about your name? Good morning. Good to have you back.
My name is Major Mohammed Bashir Galma.
Major Mohammed Bashir Galma. Okay, thank you. Thank you indeed for the correction. Thank you. All right, good to have you on the show. Let's proceed about what happened in Delta State. We were just discussing it in the studio, and we applauded the fact that, you know, the first line of communication came directly from the army saying that investigation has commenced. And I did make a statement about how this is a sad reminder to what happened in Odi and Zaki Biam during the Obasanjo government. What are the facts as you know them as at now, and what do you make of the statement from the Nigerian Army?
Thank you very much indeed for having me.
You're welcome.
For the little I know, first of all, let me say it is very absurd, like you said during your comments or news, that here is a group of people trying to make peace between two fighting communities, but they ended up being the biggest casualty of that, whatever, fracas that was. Let me say it's very unfortunate, it's bad, and it's not good for not only for the communities around that area, it's bad for the whole nation, whereby we have people who are always standing by trying to cater within the resources available to them to see that other people, innocent people, are protected. And then now getting them maimed, it is blowing, it's hard blowing to the rest of the members of that unit. From the number of casualties and the ranks I've had, it seems to me, if it is a battalion location, it seems to me even that the CO had been killed. Because according to the organogram of a battalion, we expect a lieutenant colonel to be a battalion commander, then maybe his 2IC a major, then maybe an adjutant, a captain. But I learned that 2 majors have been killed, maybe a battalion 2IC or a company commander, and then a captain. That is absurd. And then the soldiers. It's not good at all for the presence of the military there. And like you said, like what somebody said correctly, it seems to me the communities around that place, I think they have not been, friendly with the soldiers around for whatever reason. But in that general area, so many reasons can be attributed to what happened. Maybe some people, some terrible people, taking cover with what has happened, and then now seize the opportunity of seeing these soldiers being an interceding, party, try to do this thing. And from my own observation, from what I heard, though investigation is going on, there must be hands of some disgruntled past combatants in this involvement. And again, you see, this is always the problem, whereby you put soldiers, when you have so many retired senior military officers around that general area, whatever you do, as military personnel, comradeship, they will always see that you are siding one part or the other. Unfortunately, this has to go on. We cannot just say that we are going to stop putting soldiers because there are so many retired senior military officers interfering with the, I'm not saying that I have an authority that, authoritatively, that there had been any interference from some of these past retired officers or something like that. But from all indication, the manner in which these combatants were killed, there is a sign, some expertise, and then there is a sign again, luring of these soldiers to this very vantage position where they just did this very harm. But thank God, information I received that some of them have been arrested. Investigation and interrogation will bring forth to what had actually happened. Mark you, this is an area where scrambling, all sorts of scrambling, oil theft going on, illegal refining going on, illegal drilling of oil well going on. So land, where these things can be found, they can be very lucrative, and these people interested in sabotaging the Nigerian economy by making themselves richer will do anything to see that this type of thing keep on happening so that they keep on gaining. But unfortunately, it has happened in the wrong time. We don't hope it will reach the OD and Zaki Biam type of thing. But if there is any repeat of this type of thing, honestly, believe me sincerely, we will not accept foreign countries coming in to start interfering about human rights as if the soldiers being slaughtered are not human beings. They don't have the right to live. They are only there to do their jobs. And I see no reason why some people and nobody, as far as Nigeria remains one, you cannot just say that you are going to tell the commander-in-chief, we don't want soldiers in our area. You cannot just do it because you are not the only person there. So whoever this group of people is, honestly, it is going to be found. And when it is found, what I'm calling on the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Federal Republic, he should not allow this thing to go scotch-free, to set an example. Honestly, these people must be exposed and must be tried by a special court and be given the punishment which they deserve.
All right. Major Bashir, you're absolutely right. I did mention earlier that, it appears that there's some sort of disconnect between the military and the community as well. And, like I mentioned before, the Delta State government has already, condemned the attack and described it as, alien to our culture. And now my main point is, I did hear you say something about not accepting any sort of foreign help. What must the military begin to do now to avoid any sort of reoccurrence? And are you against foreign help if something like this were to happen again in Delta State?
I didn't mention foreign, I was not mentioning foreign help. Condemnation, you will hear that, that's what I said. I say I'm not expecting what happened in OD and Zakibi during Obasanjo's time to say that it's going to happen now. Because these people, these foreign people, or the foreign power will come and start talking about human rights abuse and so on and so forth. When soldiers are killed, these countries, they don't talk about human rights. But when you touch these terrible combatants among civilians, killing soldiers, then now human rights come in and so on and so forth. This is what I'm saying. So the only way to stop it, to avoid it, is for the communities to know. And the only person that can send that message to the community is the commander-in-chief, who is the commander of the armed forces of the Republic, that that the country would not accept its members of the armed forces being maimed in this type of, style, and keeping free. So that's why this investigation, when it brings out the culprits, they should be dealt with properly. And we are not looking for any help from any foreign country to do this thing. What happened is this: nobody has the right to tell the Nigerian or the federal government or the commander-in-chief how to deploy his troops to wherever is deemed necessary. So we are not expecting, we're not saying that our soldiers have failed, that we will start calling people from outside to help. We're not asking for that. But we're saying anybody again who repeats such a thing, because mind you, like I said, that is an area, because of whatever business they're having there, lucrative, whatever they are getting, and so on and so forth. Mind you, it was only about 10 days ago that the military makes a discovery of some weapon, what do you call it, is it factory or local factory, and so on and so forth. These people, you think they are going to be happy with what has happened? So that's why I mentioned some people may take cover. Some of these aggrieved people may take cover of seeing these soldiers exposed during this intercession of the battle of what is happening between these two communities, and then do this type of thing for them. So, like you said, it is not a disconnect. If there's a disconnect, it's because the soldiers are doing their duty to stop them from this illegal, whatever they are doing there. That will be the only disconnect. Otherwise, I cannot see any disconnection. There are some soldiers deployed in other areas. We have not been hearing that there is such a heinous enmity between the soldiers and the community they are working with. It's always friendly.
Thank you, Major. One commanding officer, two majors, one captain, and